we're already starting our conversation here, but let me tell you real quick. If you're passionate about chamber music, we have a great opportunity here for you to get a full season of concerts going. I want to welcome Carol Kovich to the program of Community Concerts of Laguna Woods Village.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for joining us.
Being here.
So tell us a little bit about the history of community concerts. We'll get to what we have gone to schedule coming up, but
Sure.
tell us a little bit about the history of this. It's almost 60 years old.
Right. We are almost as old as the village.
Mm-hmm.
And originally, Community Concerts was a national organization.
Oh, okay.
And they used Columbia artists as their stable of
wow.
musicians. And they would go to small communities that didn't have access to good music and create a community concert local.
Okay.
And so those people then would go out and do a fundraiser, gather money. They would know what their budget would be, and they would work with the people from Community Concerts to pick from the stable concerts that they could afford, pick dates they were available. It was really a wonderful organization.
Interesting.
And then they went defunct some years ago, and many of us have maintained the name, but now, of course, we have to find our own talent.
Yeah, that can't be easy.
So that's the big part of our job,
Right.
is finding the good talent, and there's a lot of wonderful talent out there. So we have been able to bring incredible world-class musicians to Laguna Woods.
It's fantastic. And you're offering 6 classical music concerts every season.
Every season. We usually start in
Each season, yeah.
Each season,
Yeah.
yeah. We start in October. We do October, November normally, and then we do January through April. But this season, the Performing Arts Center is closed in January for a sound update. So we have to skip January and do 2 in April. So, but we have a really amazing concert coming in February. I don't know if you're familiar with Scott Yu, but he does the CBS show called Now Hear This, which is an educational program about classical music. And we were only able to get him because he was already going to be up in San Luis Obispo the day before we needed him in Laguna Woods. And then we also had a sponsor who helped with a very nice large donation. So we were able to bring him. So we're very excited about that.
Now you have some world-class musicians on the schedule here that we're looking at. How do you seek them out? How do you find them? Do you do the research and ask, beg and plead for them to come down here?
Thank God for the internet.
Yes.
Because when we hear of someone, of course, we have a lot of agents, that we are in touch with, that we have formed relationships with, and they're constantly in touch with us about people that they have in their stable that they would like to send to us. And then, of course, we go out and look for people too. And then we have people on our board who are knowledgeable about musicians, who have friends who are professional musicians, and that really helps too. So, yeah, we've been very fortunate too. And it's amazing how much talent there is out there and how affordable they still are.
Right.
I mean, it's incredible. Look at us. We charge $75 for the whole concert, the whole season.
For 6 concerts.
That's terrific.
$75.
Yes, yeah.
And as to your point, these are world-renowned musicians. I was listening to a video or two on some of these. I mean, absolutely astonishing.
They really are amazing. Yeah, we're so fortunate. And many of these people actually also perform at Soca or Segerstrom. And then you would pay almost $75 for one concert. So that's why we think this is such a bargain for our village.
And what a beautiful time right after lunch.
What's the vibe of the concerts when you're there? Is it kind of really formal? Are people dressed up? Is it more casual?
It's very casual.
Okay.
And I wish you could have been at our concert on the October concert, the Viana Quartet. 4 young, charismatic, adorable, young, talented musicians, and they played wonderful, wonderful music. And the vibe in the audience when it was done, we were all in such a good mood. We were running around hugging each other. It was just incredible. I wish we could play classical music all the time so that we had that kind of enthusiasm and and happiness. It was really
music
wonderful.
really does touch our souls, doesn't it?
It really does.
Especially in a classical format.
It really does. It absolutely does, yeah.
Gives us a lot of dopamine.
You got that right. Yes, and you can see that we kind of do a variety.
You do.
You know, we have a soloist, and we have a trio, a quartet, and then a larger group, yeah. And that the Manhattan Chamber Players in April there'll actually be 7 musicians, a combination. And we try to do one larger group like that each season. But of course, then that gets more expensive, so
Of course.
we have to balance the budget.
Okay.
Now they're pretty. A lot of them seem to be very classically trained in those kinds of things. Do the concert seasons ever kind of? Do you ever do a theme, or do you do like the variety of? Hey, we're going to try to go do a country twist this season, or something like that.
No, we do not, but sometimes the musicians themselves will do something. We had a wonderful pianist, John Camira Parker, who did this amazing repertoire of piano music where he did some jazz, he just did all kinds of wonderful things, and a lot of classical music too. So sometimes the musicians themselves do a variety, which is fun. We have evolved over the years. We didn't used to be all classical or all chamber, but over the years we have evolved, and basically now we do all classical chamber, but we used to do like we would always end on a casual note, end the season on a casual note. So, yeah.
How does that work when the musicians are traveling with their instruments? Do they bring their own?
Oh yes, unless it's a piano
Unless it's a
or a harp.
I have to get a private jet for
Go
that
around
one.
piano movers and the
And it's also surprisingly very difficult to travel with a bass. The bass fiddle
Big
is too
stand-up bass,
long for cargo.
Oh.
And so consequently, they now have made some bass fiddles where this part comes off, but then it has to be reassembled.
Right.
Oh, wow.
You know, so what I have found happens is the musicians arrive and they arrange with somebody they know locally to borrow their instrument. Or they will ask me to please rent one for them before they get here.
Is it like a set of golf clubs where you have to kind of reattune yourself?
I have asked that question, and I'm quite sure that a really professional musician can handle whatever instrument is handed to them.
Goodness.
But they undoubtedly have their favorites.
Right, right. The tonnage or whatever it might be for a Steinway and a Yamaha piano or something like that. Let me ask you this: what got you involved in this in the first place, and why are you been doing this for so long? I mean, what is it you love about this?
Well, I am actually a very good manager. I do not play an instrument. I don't know a whole lot about classical music, but I do know more than most people, so I get away with it.
And you have a passion for it.
I do. And my training was in arts management, but in the visual arts. But that translates.
Sure.
If you're a manager, you can manage anything. And so I got into it because the community concerts in the village was kind of falling apart. We were losing our membership. And I think that the quality of the performers had gone downhill. And consequently, we almost failed. And the outgoing president, who couldn't get anybody to replace her, said, we will have to just disband unless people will stand up. Would anybody like to stand up and help save the organization? And so those of us who said that met in the lobby, and people said, I'll be president, I'll be membership, I'll, whatever. And I think I said I'd do treasurer. So.
Well, Carol Kopich, you're keeping it alive, and we appreciate that. You got 6 concerts coming up for this season, and we thank you so much for joining us and being on the program today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
We'll be checking our movies when we come back. Got 2 good ones.
We do.